Recording in progress.
Yeah. Okay. Wait.
Yeah, the one where you did
This
two
one,
times.
this one,
Yeah.
it's just the same something.
Okay.
So I think I'm gonna strike on the items. When I go here, I think I'm just gonna say that this is just a bit of something. I'm gonna strike it. Next is in here, that's what oh, actually, I can just see right past this time. I kind of know where the water is, so
Yeah. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do something simple for because I'm putting the names on. Because I don't think they do our names. I don't think I know their favorite.
oh, this should be very
Yeah. I want it to be quick, but then it says that it ends at 6.
well, no, this is like as because it's only there's no one else that's presenting except us, so it's really only as quick as we want it.
Yeah.
It's like this 10 minutes, probably not me 10 minutes. Like
Yeah.
the team goal setting depends how quickly you want to do this as well. It's like yeah.
You have the
Wait, do we have the list of stuff that we talked about wanting to start last year or something?
yeah the team goal time.
Yeah, we have that. You remember it? Do you think it's in a separate agenda or I mean a separate minutes from last year or
To be honest, I have no idea.
do you think it's in the I think with that, I just don't know all of them, but we can talk about it. Like, yeah. There was the idea of like the videos, right? Kind of started that.
Yeah.
It's like we can talk about that.
Yeah, I remember making a note.
Yeah, we should found it. Whoopsie days. Thanks for setting up the agenda. Why? Oh, there. Hey, you know what the gavel is? No, I don't think so. Oh, okay.
What was it going to
No, I never. Is it good?
Canvas.
It should be, yeah. I'm pretty sure. Wait, I just gotta.
Oh yeah, I just saw that.
Don't laugh.
Yeah, there. Is there no way to finish it up?
Nico. Right now. Put in your campus ID. And your password.
Got the mind up by
Hey, is that where you take top tier security? Security is out there. Ow! And here we go again.
yeah, no, that's going. I just
That's the report.
Yeah.
Ian as a
Huh?
On Monday, I didn't hear you say, no, there's a very specific, I think there's a different finance model. Or finance.
Yeah, isn't it the one where Amy will have access to edit the canvas?
Yeah, maybe it's like they didn't upload it.
Okay, I'm gonna figure that out. I'm gonna find out. All right. I should. Like, I mean, like, T minus 3 minutes. Starting the meeting, so I'll
Yeah, next week I didn't have something.
yeah.
This meeting is very
I'll just put in. I think it's a very here. There's been an error in.
I mean, we started for it.
Yeah.
We only do local for education.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So right now there should be you did something.
No, wait. I didn't see what your essay is about.
You want to do something? Wait,
no, you gotta do something. You gotta do something like eloquent as like nice letter.
No, I'm pretty sure this isn't even me. I think that's your teacher. They just changed the name.
Oh, are you serious? Are you serious?
Wait, I don't know. Okay. So we got.
No one doesn't remember writing a test. I have to.
That's green. Look at that. That's fine. I don't know what to say.
Your photo is mad white. You look like the mustard.
No, please don't.
Like you and maybe you all look whack, bro. You look like mustard, bro.
It does look like a good. 10 members. Wait, can I make a public comment?
Oh, wait, I am. No, wait, I didn't.
Oh, no, I'll make it a public comment. I'll make it a public comment.
Please, no.
I'll make it a public comment. All right.
Wait, what do you mean?
Write that down, write it down.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, is the Zoom here?
Oh, are you? Yeah, everyone's this came.
Everyone either.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Finance. Yeah.
Yo, you guys are welcome to sit on the table. Oh, sit on the table. Yeah. Sit on the table. I mean, sit. Yeah. Yeah. You can sit on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm here for
Yes.
Yeah, but I kind of need to set up just to make sure that stuff because that's not regarding like the funding stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you might be late.
Oh, yeah.
With large stock on this.
I got
I know.
You think I can do All right, I think
right now.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. For one. All right, so I call this meeting to order at 4:01 p.m. So can we start roll call? Here.
Nicholas?
Here.
Ian?
Here.
Aaron? Dana? Here. Kate? Here. Lydia. And Benjamin.
Hey. Can I get, moving on, can I get an approval of minutes from October 2nd, 2023?
I move to approve the minutes for October 17th.
Second. Moved by Kate, seconded by Ian? Yeah. Any objections? No, okay, moving on. Public comments, are there any public comments? Okay, I have a public comment. Nico, can you stand up real quick? So word on the street is that Nico's Senate picture on the website is supposed to be kind of whack. So I want to check it out in front of you guys while it's up here. Up.
Dude, that's not too bad. What are you talking about? Yeah, we have the Donald Trump one.
The what?
Donald Trump one.
Okay. Real. So any other public comments? Yes, no, yes. All right. Advisor announcements. Are there any advisor announcements? No. Okay. External shared governance committee reports. Anyone have any shared governance reports you want to share? No. Okay. I mean, like, you guys know where to find it. It's kind of like, we talk about the Senate, so if there's anything, occasionally there might be moments where shared governance report kind of matters in the context of our committee. I guess in that case we can share it. But if it's just like general stuff and it's not really like, then we can just skip that. Yeah. So I think we can move on to the first business item, which is a team bonding activity. Again, yay. So this item is to strengthen the team dynamics of the 2023-2024 DASG Finance Committee. Team bonding activities include icebreakers as well as getting to know members' work style and goals. Okay, Nico, go for it.
All right, so I think starting from now on, we're gonna make team bonding activity a weekly thing here, just so everyone could get their groove on, their energy on, just to get through the meeting. So yeah, we did a team bonding activity last week. It was pretty fun, but then I kind of realized that I don't think you guys even know my name. I don't think I know your name. So for this meeting, I want everyone to introduce themselves and share one thing that's unique to them. So I'm gonna give you all about like 5 minutes to think what to say. And after that, we're gonna go around and then introduce yourselves to every one of your team members here. 5 minutes starting from now.
Yeah.
Then figure out something more added too.
I don't manage to.
Yeah, like 5 minutes.
I got time that I because I go for 9, so I can.
Nice. You could get it really close.
Yeah, that's something bad. Just then,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
But
I love it.
It is pretty hilarious. Okay.
No, I'm just trying to go.
Yeah, bro.
to
Fine.
my-
Actually-
I don't think I can get it. But I'm just. The internet.
Yeah.
So it's just great because I don't have any problem.
That works.
And then. Yeah. No, I need to be, yeah, I need to be when I'm in home, if I'm in home.
Yes. One interesting fact.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Let me pull up a back.
This is, see, separate connection.
Oh, you want to do major?
It doesn't matter. I
Oh,
can do that.
name, major, and then one interesting fact.
I just feel
Oh,
like, you know, I have to.
Major is something that we don't. Want to do like right now?
I'm not a. At least I can actually do my.
Yeah. What's it about?
Oh, it's about
You didn't know that?
I mean, the second year.
The same year we just. You know.
You give them. You give them.
They want to know.
When someone asks.
That is good.
That's the spirit.
Depends on the way.
Oh, yeah. Well,
This is like the longest time of my life, bro. I don't lie to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, guys, we decided to stop the timer a bit early, so now we're about to start our introductions. So here we have.
So, oh wait, so it's gonna be name, major.
Let's put major into your majors.
So name,
Name, major, and
fun fact.
a fun fact about you.
Okay. So, hi guys, I'm Izzat Rashad, chair of finance. My major is computer engineering.
My name is Nicholas, and I'm your vice chair of finance, and my major is data science.
And one fun fact about us.
One fun fact about us is that
We
we used to
like
the
same.
girl.
Yay! All right, moving on.
hello everyone, my name is Sean. My major is mathematics and economics, and well, actually more towards economics. And my one interesting fact about me.
Yeah.
I like playing poker.
Hello, my name is Lydia. I'm your DASG president. I'm majoring in data science and also public policy. And one fun fact about me is that I ran here from the bus stop because I was ill.
I'm Marcelo. I also a CS. And one interesting fact about me is The biggest one once.
My name is Ted. I am a computer science major, and one interesting fact about me is that I'm a big death metal fan for my 2D session.
Hi, my name is Andrew. It's my first time here, and I major in computer science, and I like to play band.
Hello, my name is Calvin, 15 years old. My major is chemical engineering, and I don't have fun fact. I like to play saxophone.
Hi guys, I'm Zach. I major in econ, and interesting thing is I used to fly for a living.
My name is Yandy, and I major in economics, and my favorite book is The Lord of the Rings.
Hi, my name is TZ, and my major is economics, and I also interesting. No interesting.
Hello, my name is Audrey and I major in finance. And one interesting fact about me is that I love watching dramas. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Kate, your budget analyst. I'm majoring in computer science, and one fun fact about me is my spirit animal plant is a cactus. Guys, I'm Priya and I'm majoring in economics, and one fun fact about me is that I like eating gone candy grapes. Hi guys, my name is Nicole. I'm majoring in business admin, and one fun fact about me is I eat burger layer by layer.
Hi, I'm Audrey. I'm a business admin student, and one fun fact about me is I was born less than 1 kilogram.
That's crazy.
1 kilogram.
My name is Ethan. My major is accounting, and one fun fact about me is I like watching football.
Okay, that was interesting.
Hi, well, my name is Jaden. My major is data science, and one fun fact about me is that I like playing soccer.
Hi, I'm Benjamin. I'm your bucket analyst for this year, and something interesting about me is that I can spin almost anything except the basketball. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Ian. I'm a CS major as well, and I can move the veins from my hand.
Hi, hello, I'm Jenna. I'm also a CS major, and fun fact is I have 8 chickens.
Oh.
Yeah. My name is Celine. I am a business major, and I don't have anything to say.
My name is Cecilia, and my major is still undecided. And one fact about me is that I am not a member in DASG.
Hey guys, I'm Jason, and I majored in business admin. And one fun fact about me is I used to be the captain for my high school baby soccer team.
Hi everyone, my name is Erica, and my major is economics. And one interesting fact about me is that I like fashion, so I'm trying to create a brand, my own brand.
Okay, before we conclude, we can go Malia to present as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like everyone. Name.
Oh.
Major. Or previous job. And then fun fact.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Malia Kanoe. My major in college was sociology. And the fun fact is I got the opportunity to study abroad in college to Thailand.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lisa Kirk. I'm an accountant, so I studied accounting. I received my accounting AA from DeAnza College and my bachelor's in business with concentration in accounting from San Jose State. And I am in my 30th year full-time at DeAnza. Well, first the accounting assistant and now the accountant. Fun fact, I had my first grandbaby and he just turned 5 months on October 11th.
I think Aaron had a chance to go yet. So yeah, you.
Hi guys, I'm Aaron. I'm a computer science major / finance. Fun fact about me. I think I'll tell you. Yeah, who else? I don't really know.
Okay, I think that's everyone.
Yeah, okay, so before we conclude the team bonding activity, I just want to bring the attention to us senators here in this room. We have Isa, the chair of finance, me, Nicholas. I'm the vice chair of finance. And we have Lydia, our DASG president. We have Aaron there as our budget analyst, Kate, budget analyst, and Benjamin, budget analyst. And we have Ian as the flea market liaison and Jenna as the flea market liaison. And I want you all to get to know each other. And if you ever have any questions regarding finance or flea market or anything, feel free to hit them up. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to help you out with any questions that you have. And that's it. That concludes team bonding activity for today.
Yay! All right, moving on to business item number 2, flea market update. This item is to update the finance committee regarding flea market and prepare for the upcoming flea market. I know that we just had our most recent flea market last Saturday. So Ian, Jenna, you guys, I don't know if you want to come up here or I don't know. Yeah, I think you come up here. Talk about it.
Yeah, so just to recap the market from this past Saturday, October 7th, we had a record number of vendors since before the pandemic, with 372 vendors and 651 spaces, like vendor spaces sold. So yes, that's a really high number. And we also have some upcoming plans and goals for the next few months with the market.
Yeah, so we are planning to have a mini flea market. The current date that we have planned is a Tuesday, November 14th, I believe, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And Janet and I will be meeting Dana. I believe it should be in the OCL from 3 to 4 p.m. So if any interns are interested in coming to check that out. And flea market doesn't have like meetings every single week. It's kind of on a need basis. So we need to discuss the mini flea market. And so we're letting you know that there is a meeting tomorrow if you would like to check it out. Let's see what else we have. Right. Something else we are also working on is we are kind of looking for volunteer photographers for the flea market to get some really nice pictures. As the flea market is big, the student assistants are mostly working, so it's hard to get photos. Something we thought about was we may hit up like photography professors and see if they can make that like an extra credit assignment for their students, kind of like take photos for us at the flea market. And another thing would be any art majors. I don't think I heard any art majors just now, but we are also looking for people who would like to display their art. So we have kind of a section in the flea market for like an art display, but it's everything done by the art student. Yeah.
What time is for the flea market meeting?
The meeting? Tomorrow's one, you mean? 3 to 4 p.m. And I believe,
yeah, can you put that in the Discord later, just like for anyone who wants to see, they can just like, yeah.
And yeah, I believe that should be about it. Any questions, ideas, or suggestions?
Question. How is this mini flea market different, or like how frequent is it compared to the end flea market, the big one?
All right, so mini flea market is once a quarter for now. So we kind of have the dates mapped out for the whole quarter, November 14th, on a Tuesday. For the other quarters, it also should be Tuesdays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., I believe. And for the mini flea market, it's not open to the public. Or, I mean, we're not purposely trying to promote it to the public. It's supposed to be specific for the young students. And so it's a lot smaller. We kind of handpick the vendors. So we have to go through that process to pick the vendors, so that the products are kind of more catered to what students might want. Yeah.
And also it's in front of the library. So like
Yeah,
the quad in front of it. Yeah.
Can students set up stalls or like apply to be a vendor?
For the regular flea market or mini flea market? You wanted to sell. You wanted to sell stuff.
Like if the student wants to sell.
It's probably by a case basis. Depends. Just because, like I say, food trucks or people who are selling craft or things that they make, you would need like a seller's permit, and that's just because like Uncle Sam wants to tax you. And so that's one case. And if you're selling secondhand items, for the mini flea market, I'm not quite sure, but I can bring it up with data. Yeah. Thank you for the question. Any more? Other one. Other twice. Oh. Yeah. Yep. That's all that is. Thank you, Ian.
All right, moving on. Business item 3. So this is information discussion action item. We're going to talk about transferring funds from restricted to unrestricted fund balance. So this item is to discuss and possibly approve decreasing restricted fund balance account 413230040 surplus reserved for next year budget by up to $500,000 and moving it to increase unrestricted fund balance account 413250040 prior year funding from other sources. So okay, recap for you guys who don't know. So apparently there is a restricted fund balance that has like a lot of money from like it's like leftover funds, but also like one-time COVID relief funds as well. And there was discussion about, hey, since we just approved there was that one homecoming, right? We approved homecoming from our special allocations, which only had $16,000, and we approved $10,000 in funding for homecoming. So that leaves us with $6,000. And the discussion basically is that, okay, now we want to be able to move money from the restricted fund to our special allocations. So now we're going to talk about actually moving it, and then also how much. So yeah, maybe before we kind of talk about it, Lisa, I just want to make sure, like, so the procedure for us to move it, do I just make like a motion to like move it from the restricted to unrestricted, or?
Oh yeah, you have to do that first. Yeah. Special allocations is a separate item.
Okay, so then I would make one motion to move from restricted to unrestricted, and then another motion to move it to special allocation.
To just revise your budget and special allocation based on that amount.
I see. Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Right.
So it needs to be very clear.
Yes.
And it's an unusual transaction. This doesn't occur. I think I've seen it once in my 30 years here. Okay.
We're about to make history right now.
Well, it's only because you had so much funding given to you from the lost revenue due to COVID that our district was able to do that through some federal funding that they got.
Okay.
Won't happen again, I don't think.
Okay. So before I believe the fund itself has, if I'm not mistaken, like 894. I'm gonna pull up the exact, let's see how much it was. All right, Lisa, is it this one?
You guys zoom in on that.
Yeah, so Dennis, I think also included my draft revenue spreadsheet. I think that may be a better one to look at because this gives you history, okay? So, okay.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yeah, just a quick question, and this is directed to Lisa. Are those funds, do they have to be spent within a certain period, or can they continue just to be rolled over if we don't, for example, use it all next year?
Well, yeah, it'll roll over. It just becomes part of an ending number, right? So can we go to the last column here? Right, so if you see down here, sorry, I don't want to laser you in the head there. Okay, so this is where you see that 898, 451. That number was not, that's a known number, but it was not known until we finished all of the year-end financial transactions for the year 22-23, which ended June 30th. The number was not known to us until everything was posted. And it is so large because you got a couple of very large amounts from the district for COVID estimated lost revenue. One was for 21-22 that was known, and then you received an additional amount at the end of May that was for 22-23 and 23-24 estimated lost revenue due to COVID. But you see this number here is greatly inflating what you'll have to allocate with the 24-25 budget, okay? So if you look at what we are currently, we're in 23-24, the amount that you had to allocate in that surplus was 364. So that's where we get the up to 500,000. If you look at the difference between these two numbers here, that's about $500,000, right? So to keep your budget about stable and about the same amount, you can move some of this from this restricted fund balance right now into an unrestricted and then increase your special allocations for the current fiscal year that you're in, which is 2023-2024. Does that make sense to everyone? But first we have to move it out. So we have fund balance, we do fund accounting, right? And you have different categories of fund balances. Some is restricted fund balance, and then there's unrestricted fund balance. In order to use any of this 898 there for the current year we're in a 23-24, you need to move it from a restricted fund balance to an unrestricted fund balance. So what is being asked right now is how much do you want to move from that restricted fund balance to unrestricted? Yes, sir.
Sorry, question. I just wanted to ask if it was not moved and it stayed in the restricted balance, what is that used for?
It'll be added to what you have to allocate for your budget process for 24-25.
Oh,
but what it's doing is it's inflating the budget for 24-25. So if you move some of this 898 over to now 23-24 and can use some of it at least in 23-24. The ending number, each year you have a budget process, right? And these are you don't have that many sources of revenue. And the revenue for flea market is looking good, but the quarterly fee for the DSG fee, membership fee, is based on enrollment headcount. And that has been declining. The trend has been declining year after year. This is the first year now I'm hearing that it's up a little bit, but so we're cautiously optimistic, but I don't know what the ending number is going to be. You can look at, the prior years of what our budget is, our best guess, and the actuals coming in much less than what we estimated. Because again, enrollment was continuing to decline year after year. Okay, so but this year we might make what we estimated at 470. So that's why I put an estimated number here of 480 for the quarterly DSG. It's called card sale, the DSG membership fee. It's an optional fee of $10 that you pay with your basic fee when you register for classes. Okay, so the discussion here right now is about releasing some of this from a restricted fund balance to unrestricted to be used in the 23-24 year, fiscal year, which we're currently in. Okay, so for whatever amount you do that, right, and finance makes the recommendation to the Senate, it'll reduce this number because this budget, this amount of a budget here is
too much.
Overinflated. It's inflated, artificially inflated because it's not going to stay that way. And even this 364 that the year that we're in, that was the highest number that I had ever seen. And again, it was based on some COVID related lost revenue funding that DSG received from our district.
Is this the HERF fund, was it?
Yeah, some HERF funding, and then there was some other funding. It's kind of complicated, but just the bottom line is that's why these numbers are so high, because you got some funding due to the pandemic, because you lost the revenue. If you look at especially the 21-22 fiscal year, you can see the actual revenue came in much, much less than what the budget was projected, because that budget was prepared before even the pandemic. Anyway, there were a couple of years of quite low, below what you had estimated. So.
Okay. Lisa, I have a question. So, in this case, would it be better to, let's say we move a certain amount of money from restricted to unrestricted, and then we take a portion of that and put it in special allocations, or should we just take the amount that we want to put in special allocations and just like we take out that amount to unrestricted and then put it all in special allocation? Like, would it be okay?
You have to do it the way I'm telling you.
Okay.
Okay. Fund balance accounts sit on your balance sheet.
All right.
Okay. You need to move this from the, like I detailed out for you, from the restricted fund balance account that is the surplus reserve for next year budget. You have to decrease that and increase on the other side the account number I gave you for the unrestricted fund balance account.
Okay. Then
once you agree to do that and vote that, then you can move to approve it to go into the special allocation account. Okay. It's two separate actions. It's two separate things, because the fund balance account sit on your balance sheet. Those of you who've had accounting, who's had accounting? Anybody? Okay. I think you learned it in accounting 1A about balance sheets and income statements. And your special allocations account sits on your income statement. Okay, so it's on the expense side. Okay, so it has to be done this way. Technically, I'm telling you what needs to be done so that it's properly reported.
Okay, I just want to ask, like, when we make the first move from decreasing it from restricted, increasing the unrestricted, before I make the motion to move that in special allocations, so that just sits in what's known as the unrestricted fund.
Yes, but you can't move it to special allocations until you've done the first one.
No, yeah, I know. I was just asking, like, where, so it just like, because I've never seen like the restricted versus unrestricted fund.
I showed you last week on the balance sheet. We can pull up the balance sheet if you want to take a look at that again.
We can take a look at that.
Yeah. So that 898, if you go to the financial statements, if you even, I think, look at last week in my budget presentation, I had the links, or you should have a link right there, monthly financial statements, right there. Yeah. Okay, so just look at August. You can look at the one at the very top. Look at August. Okay, go to the second page, please. And then can you make that larger? I'm having a hard time seeing that. Okay, you see there's the 898. You see the 898? Right there. It's in a restricted fund balance.
Oh yeah, okay.
Surplus reserve for next year budget, okay? We need to move it up to an unrestricted fund balance account. The number that I gave you is not currently there. We've used it in the past years for the, what was the name of it? What was the name of it? The prior year surplus from other funding sources, something. What was the name of the account, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
okay, so that it's going to sit on the balance sheet. Once you do that, I can do a fund balance adjustment through a journal entry. Those who've had accounting may have heard of journal entry. Going from the restricted fund balance account to the unrestricted fund balance account. That amount will sit on the balance sheet and show you, and that's how you are gonna have that available to allocate into the special allocations on the income statement side for the current year that we're in. Okay, does that make sense? Maybe it makes more sense to those who've had an accounting class, but technically that's what I need to do. And it all needs to be recorded and documented in your club, or not, excuse me, not your club minutes, your Senate minutes, with the recommendation of the Finance Committee. Okay.
So essentially, it's sounding like this is more complicated than it needs to be, but you're just essentially moving it from the unrestricted account to a different account. And then once that is done, then you can all vote whether or not it should go into special allocations. That's all we're doing.
Yes, they can do that at the same meeting, but all I'm saying is that you cannot allocate anything else into special allocations until you vote for the amount.
So it's right. So it's a two-step process. So
that's correct.
Okay.
And then on your income statement, once that happens, technically, assuming this is all approved by Senate, it'll show on the income statement side as an adjustment to fund balance. Okay, that there's an adjustment to fund balance that has been made.
You just want to table this next week so that we can get like more.
I mean, I kind of want to just talk about before we even decide to move anything. The first thing I want to talk about is just how much money do we want? Right.
I think we should be careful because like if you move too much money, wouldn't that affect the
next year's budget?
Yeah, next year's budget.
Yeah, that's something that's okay. So that's a very good point, actually. I believe where's the there was that one sheet that was pretty good. This one. So Lisa, this is if we don't move any of the money, this would be the projected budget for 24-25. Or
that is correct.
Yes.
Okay, I'm basing these estimates. These are my best estimates right now. So this is a draft and it's subject to change. It's based on the information that we have at the time. But when you look at the 23-24 budget, which was, like I said, that 364 that we had to add to it, made this one of the largest budgets that we've had in quite a while. So when you look at this budget and you compare it with this, it's quite a big difference, right? So what I'm saying is that because you received all of these funds basically in one fiscal year, then it's overinflating what the 24-25 budget really has. And to try to smooth it out where you're going to you did do an adjustment in this year of 220 because you received some money from the COVID in the year prior, and you wanted to set aside some of those funds to be able to allocate with that budget so that your budget would be about stable, about the same amount if you see these two amounts in 21-22 and 22-20. Is that right? 22-23.
Yes.
There's a lot of fiscal years up there, so I don't want anybody to get confused. But the budget in actual is just giving you the history of what has occurred. But these COVID monies that you received is highly unlikely to ever happen again. So, you are getting these large dollars here because of those transactions.
Yeah. So basically, guys, like historically, I think you guys have heard like this term or like this going around is like we have about a budget of $1 million, right? So that's kind of like, as you guys can see, 2021, 2022, 22, 23, 23, 24, it's like around $1 million. But then 24-25, because of the COVID relief fund, it's like $1,670,000. So yeah, that's a good point that Sean made. You don't want to like allocate like too much because then we would have less. But we're actually in a unique situation where we got too much. So that's not you.
Well, the other issue is, right, you didn't really allocate very much for special allocations in the current year that we're in. I don't remember why, honestly, but 16,000 is not very much to have in special allocations because you're not sure what's going to happen in a fiscal year. We've never seen cost of living adjustments at 7.22% like we're seeing for this fiscal year. And we don't know what it could be for next year. So those are just some unknowns that we, just uncertainty. So it's good to have a pretty good special allocations for unknown or unexpected expenses and new programs or projects that DSG wants to get behind and fund.
Lisa, like historically, what's like a good amount for like special allocations?
Ooh, there were years where it was a lot. I don't know, maybe Hanshu, you've been here a shorter amount of time. Do you recall what the highest amount you've seen in special allocations?
I think it's always kind of averaged around 20.
Yeah, so when there were years.
So we did start,
it was a lot higher.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And part of that is, I think that, there hasn't been a high need for it because of the pandemic. But now that we're kind of more back on campus, I suspect that we're going to have more interest. And just as a reminder, the 10,000 was approved, and thank you all so much for your support in that, because it did get passed by the Senate. And just today we learned that President Holmes did match our 10K. So we have 20,000 to work with for homecoming, but that would not have happened had not the finance committee did support the first 10K. So right now you all really only just have 6,000 in your special allocation, because that 10K is now being given to homecoming.
All right. So anyone has a number, anything that they would like to throw out? 200. 200,000 in special.
Like you have like 1.1, and then for 24-25 fiscal year would be like 1.6, right? So there's like $500,000 difference between that. So I recommend like don't go over like 50%, or like probably around 30% for that. So just like what the man says. So we don't know what's going to happen next year. So in case of that, so we'll just take that 30% out. And we have
I say a large amount is the way to go, but I don't think we should go above 100,000 just in case we wanna move it even after 24, 25. We still don't know what's gonna happen. So I say, yeah, your number around there is correct, because I don't wanna go above 100,000.
Sean,
I think the smartest thing is also to consider past years and how we have succeeded in past years, because right now it's all just theory, right? But then if we look at the actual statistics of the past year's budget, you can see that every year we spend an average of around $1 to $1.1 million. So I think we shouldn't stray off from that. But I do like the idea Nick was considering about having to put not too much. So I think around 150,000 would make sense, because we also have to consider that this year, as mentioned, there's a lot of things we don't know about yet. So I think we can also put into that, like thinking that we could save some amount of money in case something were to be unknown.
What was the average that's usually in special allocation? I was hearing like 20 to 30, maybe even more. Yeah, but like that's like the
The amount we're talking about, how much you want to do for allocation? How much you want to move that?
Well, right now, I know the process is that we're supposed to move it from, right. But it's like, the idea is like, our end goal is how much do we want special allocation. So the amount that we're gonna move from the restricted will like match. Yeah, I guess that's how I right.
So if I can also add, as part of the process, because I don't want folks to feel like this is a done deal. I mean, it's kind of like if you think about having your own savings and checking account, you move it based on kind of your needs. So since there are a lot of unknowns at this point, at some point, because we don't want to be moving money to different accounts every week. I'm not suggesting that, but say come winter quarter and we're like, oh gosh, I think we need more money here. We just go through the same formal process. and we bring it to the finance committee and we just move it. So I don't want anybody to get hung on like, oh my gosh, if we move this much money, that's it. That's not the case. It's just a formality that we have to go through. So again, think about having your own savings and checking account. You kind of move money around depending on kind of what you need. So so hopefully that will help and ease people's mind, and that if you give a final amount, it doesn't mean we can't change it later and add more or take less. Okay.
Lisa, I have a question.
Yes.
If our special allocations was $100,000, would that likely make us the DASG batch have the largest special allocations of all time?
I don't think so. If I went back in history, there's some years, I've been here a really long time, and actually on the on the website, on the financial statement website, it goes all the way back to June of 2000, the year 2000. So you have a lot of history to look at. And if you want to go back and look at special allocations, you know, it was in a different section in the Fund 41 income statement, but the information is there. It started, I mean, there are years I know that it was pretty high. But we do know that the cost of living adjustments is gonna, there's gonna be a need for multiple accounts that you fund for classified positions. Just in our office alone, I can tell you I've done calculation and it's about $14,000. And then there's, you know, we have college life office and flea market office. So those, you know, you're talking about large dollars, and it's not just not the pay, the benefits are related to the pay. So it works out to be probably you need, I'm estimating off the top of my head, probably like $50,000, 40 to 50 maybe just for that, or you know. So I don't think that 100,000 may be too much based on the needs, especially with the positions that you are currently funding. And I think I mentioned to everyone, those are union contract positions, right? Those are non-negotiable. These positions are part of a association of classified employees union.
Okay. So with that in mind, we really have two options here. One, if we really wanted to, we could table this for next week. We can look at the history. We could try to find a very specific number to, like, you know, that we all really like. Or we just like find a number that we're kind of like, yeah, that feels about right. And then, you know, because again, the thing about special allocations is it's special allocations. This is like the account for where you kind of use it for whatever, like when we need it. Right. So at least like I would like to say first, like, how precise does it really need to be? Not really, but the more is probably, we kind of want to go on the higher end rather than like, we want to overestimate than underestimate for special allocations, just because, you know, we really don't know this year. And like what Lisa said, if adjustments itself might already be 50K, want to accommodate other programs on campus, that's something to consider. So
if we're moving money from the unrestricted into the allocation, special allocation, will it just be this year or for every special allocation from now on?
No, that's just for this specific like this specific year. So not even for the next year, but it's for our year, the money that we use like now.
So yeah, so if we put like say of a huge amount of 100K in special allocation this year, it would still be carried over the next year anyway, right?
If it was not used.
Can I ask that you put that spreadsheet back up that shows how how we arrive at the number that 898, because the number that we're talking about that is in the surplus that's reserved for the next year budget, it is a number, it is just a bottom line number of all the financial transactions that occur in the income statement side of Fund 41. So we didn't know what that number was until all of the year-end close transactions were completed, and that was at the end of July. Okay, we got all the revenue and expense transactions posted, and the actual revenue for 22-23 came in actually higher than we estimated. It came in higher, which was a surprise, but it did. And then there were budgets available still in all the different sections. people that didn't, they didn't spend all of their allocations. And then we, of course, I had to also add in the transfer that you got from the other funding sources from that's the DSG, the lost revenue. All right. So that's where we get the 898. But if you look at that spreadsheet, or do you know which one I'm talking about? This one? Yeah. Okay, that one. So when we take a look at that, you'll see the special allocations amount that was unused from 22-23 was $16,265. That just is part of that ending number of the 898, right? There's many different parts to that 898. That's the bottom line number. But it just gets rolled over and it just gets reallocated with the next annual budget cycle. Does that make sense to everyone? It's not like you have to use it all. If you don't use it all, it's just gonna roll into one final ending number that you see that in that restricted fund balance account for the surplus that's reserved for the next year budget. That's how you can have over $1 million budget, because it's not all revenue, right? It's just you have some fund balance still, that was not used that you can allocate with the next budget cycle. Does that make sense to everyone? I hope so. The numbers are on the balance sheet so that you can see them there. And then if this is approved, whatever month it is approved, I will have to do the entries and you'll see the adjustment to the balance sheet side of fund for Fund 41 and also on the income statement. Okay, yes.
Is the 898K currently in a savings account?
It's in a restricted fund balance account.
Yeah.
It's all of the money for DSG is managed by our district office. It is pooled with the county of Santa Clara. So one of the surprises with you earned more interest on the money in the bank last year than was expected because everything went crazy and you got a much higher interest than you had been getting. And so that was part of the revenue coming in more than was budgeted, right? The budget is our best estimate, our best guess. It's not going to come in exact, right? Yeah.
If we take out money from the restricted budget, then will restricted fund, will that money be with the county of Santa Clara, and will that go into the savings?
It is all with the county of Santa Clara. It's managed by our district office, our district business office. But it's a pool with the whole county of Santa Clara. I couldn't explain exactly how all that works, but they earn better interest rates, I guess, by pulling all these monies together.
Right. So removing select 1,000 from the restricted fund won't affect how much we're sending.
Oh yeah, no. It has nothing to do with the money in the bank. We have one bank account, Bank of America. You can also see that on the asset section of the balance sheet.
So does the restricted fund garner any sort of passive income, or does it just
It does it's being held for a specific purpose, right? It's being held so that you have more to allocate with your next budget cycle, which is 2024-2025. At the end of a fiscal year, once everything is done, I do final journal entries that move it out of restricted fund balance and up to unrestricted fund balance. Then it's available for the budget for that year. Does that make sense to everyone? Yes, I hope so. Okay. Did we find it?
We did. We just can't fix the.
Oh, something's wrong.
Yeah, something wrong with the.
Okay, sorry, just a minute. There's no overhead anymore, huh?
But this is it.
Oh, yeah, that's the one. Okay, okay. So it is that the spreadsheet I'm referring to, where the 898 number comes in, is I believe also on the agenda, right? As an attachment.
Yes.
Okay.
So again, so anyone have a number they're confident with?
150.
Yay.
I think I saw your hand.
I think 150 to 170 should be.
Do I hear consensus? What is this? Hey, what about you? What do you think?
No, I'm gonna raise the fund. I got 150 something.
What about our budget analysts? You got budget analysts here? That's 3 in a row. That seems pretty good to me.
Yeah, I think regardless of price point we're going at, like we should still table this for next week so that we can make the decision with like all of us knowing how it works fully. And like what the effect is on like the on the restricted fund, because right now I'm not clear how it affects, like, because like if we take out 175, does that reduce our returns for the next year?
Yeah. Yes.
That's because that's what I'm that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah,
doing that.
but like I said, it's right now overinflated for 24-25. The budget for 24-25 is, when you compare it with 23-24, is over $500,000 greater, which is not something that's going to be manageable. You know, it's not going to be occurring year after year.
Yeah, essentially, what is that called? We're actually in a very unique position where we have too much money
for next year.
Yeah, so it's like, well, Lisa said about 500,000 more than like.
Yeah, right. If you look at the spreadsheet and compare the years, you're comparing the budget years. You know, I'm just looking at even from the current year we're in, which was the highest I've seen it too, that 364, to this year, or for 24-25, it's about $500 different.
Yeah, so it's like what is that called? If we're gonna, let's say, allocate like move $150,000, that's not something that we should be afraid of. Like, oh, this is gonna reduce our thing, like, you know, we're like 500,000 in the clear, right?
So I think 30% would be good. 30% is right.
I think what's wrong with carrying on this 500,000 like this?
Yeah, because you don't have special allocations anymore. It's kind of the problem. And then, as Lisa pointed out, there's also going to be a lot of like additional costs that increase. Like, for example, we're paying for employment as well, and those cost of living adjustments have risen. So that means we're going to have to put more money into paying those things as well. So we're at a point where we have no money in our special allocation, but we have a lot of money that's locked up somewhere, and we're trying to move it, right?
Can we like give a rough estimate or a rough calculation of how much, like, for example, you can just make
cost of living?
Yeah.
No, Lisa said about 50,000.
Well, it could be up to that much. I know just for our office, it's over 14,000, over 14. Yeah. So there's multiple other positions. So it could be up to 50, but probably more like 30 to 40. I don't know exactly because I don't have those calculations from those other areas yet.
Yeah. Anyone else?
No, but then like, for example, like if it's like 350, and then if you do that, that's like already more than how much we already like.
What do you think? Okay, it seems like it's kind of split 100, 150, who knows? You
like, why don't you do a vote on this?
No, that I was about to say, I could right now. Wait, so I just want to make sure I get all technicalities right, because I think we can start moving to emotions soon. So Lisa, just to make sure again, if I were to make ask a motion for this, it'll just be to move it from the restricted, to unrestricted in this amount, and then I have to see the account number from this account to this account.
You should say the account numbers. You can leave the last 4 numbers off, all those zeros.
Okay, all right. I really wish this was working right now, but yeah. In case it's not. Okay, does anyone want to make a motion? You're gonna have to come up here and like read the thing. It's because like, it's like, you know, it's pretty long. Anyone, any motion?
I make the motion to move $150,000 from the restricted fund balance account 4132300000 to the surplus reserve for next year budget fund 4131250000.
The amount of
150,000.
Is there a second? Yeah. Only senators can do that. Yeah. All voting members.
You have to say dollars. You didn't say
Dollars. Is there a second?
I need to amend the motion from 150,000 to $100,000.
I second that amendment.
Wait, from how much? To how much?
From 150,000 to 100.
Okay, and then you second it. Any objections? No objections. The amendment passes. Now we move back to the main motion, which has been changed to moving from restricted to unrestricted in the amount of $100,000. Is there a second?
Yes, so I second. That's the second, right? Second.
Wait, in that case, the one that oh, so you have to make a careful. I thought the motion's already like it moved from the stack to the whatever. Like it didn't like.
No, yeah, that's what I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, does it have to be out? They're like.
And then you amended the motion. No, because the motion already exists.
Okay, so
you just amended it. Right, Lee?
Yeah. So okay, I seconded the amendment.
Yeah, and then we moved to the main motion again, right?
Yeah, so then I second that.
And then you second that as well. Exactly. So now, are there any objections?
Does that have to be someone else?
Does it have to be someone else?
It doesn't. No, it doesn't. Why?
They're two different motions.
Yeah, I second both of them.
Someone else.
I don't know about
Lydia, please, our last poll. Wait, just yeah.
Okay, I'll second instead of Aaron.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
So
Let me
move.
Wait. Benjamin wanted to second that. That's fine.
Okay. All right. So moved by Kate, seconded by Lydia. Are there any objections?
No public comment.
No.
Change.
That's a good question. Actually,
yeah. Yeah, you have to move to discussion to comment, right?
Wait, but he can't do that. So
I mean, that's what I mean. Yeah, we have to move to discussion to comment.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. Are there any objections to the second? Going once. Going twice. Okay. It happens. No, we haven't moved to the special. Okay, chill out, guys. Okay. Wow, okay. All right. So now the second part.
Wait, can we move to discussion before that?
Huh?
Can we move to
I
discussion?
mean, you could.
Okay,
you want it?
I motion to move
do you have to move?
I don't know. Yeah, okay, let's discuss.
Okay. Okay, so basically, okay, now the money is like it's from the restricted to the unrestricted, right? Now you gotta move it to special allocation.
Yes, can I just say that it has to have the vote of the Senate?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
This is just the
This is
first
the
step.
recommendation.
Right, okay.
But I mean, is Senate really gonna say no to $100,000? So it's like, okay, so now we have to move it to special allocations. So is there a motion on the floor?
How much to move to special allocation?
I mean, we just moved the 100K to the unrestricted. So like we might, yeah.
You're just revising the budget now in special allocation.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
Yeah. So the motion would be to revise special allocation.
To add however
add,
much you want to,
Okay.
the 100,000 to special allocations that you just moved to unrestricted fund.
Right.
I'm looking to move $100,000 from our unrestricted fund to our special allocation.
That works.
Okay.
Okay.
I second.
Moved by Aaron, seconded by Kate. Are there any objections? Going once. Going twice. Then it passes. So technically, this still has to go to Senate. But ain't no way Senate's saying no to this. So it's like, we did it! Okay. That's me. So let's see on the agenda. I'm pretty sure we're almost done. Business item 4. Okay, so now we're moving on to the last item. Business item 4, finance team goal setting. This item is to discuss the team goal for 2023-2024 DASG Finance Committee. Time. So the time allotted is 30 minutes, but I'm hoping we can do this quick. So basically, finance, we all know that we're supposed to do like budget deliberation stuff. That's kind of already a given. But I think beyond that, we kind of want to talk about what else do we want to accomplish in this committee, right? We talked, I think there were a few projects like last year, we didn't quite finish the Canvas videos. You guys remember that? We're supposed to do that. There's the idea of like programs or like ways to help other programs that we do not fund. So like if we don't help, let's say tutoring services, what else can we offer to kind of help with that? Right. So there's that whole thing, the whole like helping programs, whatever. I believe we kind of talked about this and we wrote it down. I don't know where we wrote it down, but I'll try to look for it. But yeah, now we're kind of just talking about what else do we want to accomplish? What else do we want to kind of write down from that? Because right now, technically, we don't really have anything. So I just wanted to like, we got to start writing that down. Like, okay, we want to do this, A, B, C, and then that's going to be what we're going to be focusing on for the year. So pretty pivotal stuff here. Anyone have anything that they want to, want this committee to do? Nico?
I want to start with something that we promised to do, which was the Canvas video. But I really want to ask, like, right now for the interns, do you think that by us making a video explaining like what Fund 41 means, what Fund 46 mean, would be helpful for you guys to understand more about how finance works? Or do you think that's unnecessary?
Definitely helpful.
Helpful? Okay, they were good.
I think that's amazing.
Documented enough?
I think just make a 2-minute short graphic video.
Can I get a just general hands up, like, or like, like video, yay, nay? Like, what do you guys think? Especially like interview as well, just because like we want to see what you guys think, right? Because this is supposed to help you guys. So can I just get like general, is that something that you guys could help or it's redundant? Okay, Nico, can you like just check consensus? What do you think? What are you seeing?
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
All thumbs up.
So it looks like the video could be helpful. So I guess we should just move on with that anyways. Okay, so that means we're gonna have to start talking about how we're gonna move forward with that next meeting. Okay, what about yes?
I'm sorry, can I just add
Sure.
to that? So I'm glad that you guys are thinking about it, because the idea behind the whole Canvas show for each of the committees is it's like you're passing on to the next generation or your successors, so they can more easily transition into these roles. So if you can think about like things that you wish you knew before you started the finance committee, or things that would be really helpful for the students who may be interested in joining, perhaps next quarter, and they really don't know anything about the finance committee other than maybe their own assumptions about it because they know what finance means in general. So, doing some kind of video that is both helping to recruit for new people, but just helping also with the training aspects. Okay. So happy to hear that you're all interested in doing that.
All right, thank you, Hanshu. So, all right. So we're gonna move forward with the video. That's pretty cool. What about the whole thing? Like, we wanna help, like, advocate for programs and stuff. Like, we kind of never talked about like the logistics and like the actual like things on how to do that. So does anyone have any ideas? So basically, it's like a lot of programs are gonna come to us going like, please, please, please give us your money. And then we're gonna be like, maybe, maybe not. And then like we'll give money to some programs, maybe not to others, because again, we have $1 million, which it sounds like a lot, but trust me, it really isn't, especially when you have a lot of programs on campus. So yeah.
What's your criteria and what's your aim? Like, what are you trying to accomplish here?
We want to make essentially like this is money that okay, so we actually have DASG budget guiding principles. This is a whole document specifically to answer your question. So I'm gonna like pull that up later, but it's like not a blue screen. But yeah, there's like a bunch of that. But the gist of it is like we want to make your experience, like student experience on campus, just better. Right? That's the whole idea. one other like very specific criteria is like we don't want to fund things that should be essential, but things that kind of add on to your college experience. So if it's something that like the fate of De Anza College rests on our shoulders, we don't want to fund that. But if it's like, oh, would this make De Anza just better, like more fun, whatever, that's something we want to fund. Like homecoming, for example. Right. So that's kind of what we're trying to do, what we're trying to fund. Unfortunately, not all programs will get money. And so now the thing that we kind of always been talking about every year is what happens to these programs? What do we do? We help them, even though we can't give them money. Any suggestions? Oh, Anju?
Okay. Hi. Okay. Yeah. So I do have something I want to say about this because while it's great that we have all this extra money that we haven't seen in many, many years. And I think that gives me a lot of more hope and optimism that we can actually start some programs that I think DSAG should consider funding in the future. One of them is our mascot program. That program has kind of been, we've been asked, well, we being the Office of College Life, housed in our office, but there is no money right now for us to maintain any kind of mascot program. So at this point, there's zero money attached to our mascot program. We have the costumes, but we don't even have the funds to clean them, for example. We have no funds to actually pay for, we're going to be, Dana, our flea market coordinator, she's going to be overseeing the mascot program. So I'm working with her in developing what that's going to look like. But we will be coming to finance probably here in the next couple months, asking for some money to help us build this mascot program. And DSAG can decide whether or not it should be housed under, their as one of the services that they provide on campus. The other things that I would hope that you all consider is, we do a lot in terms of giving money out to other programs and services. And I think that's one of the things that people really respect about our student government. And we have the luxury of doing that because we probably have the most money out of all of the student governments, I think, in the state of California. So when I tell my colleagues how much money we work with, their just jaws drop because they just can't even fathom that kind of money. With that said, I would really encourage all of you to also look internally, like what are things that DSAG can be doing more of in-house, meaning what are things that we can be doing so that students can identify that this is a DSAG event or a service, something other than just us handing out money to other departments. Because what I have noticed in the last several years is that we've become kind of the cash cow for the college, and we're trying to change that narrative. We're trying to flip it a little bit so that we're not just an organization that just hands out money, but we're also an organization that's also trying to do more, not through just, again, handing out money to other services and programs, but what can we be doing in terms of amplifying our programming efforts? So, for example, I'm not exactly sure what's allocated to our programs and events, but maybe we want to take a look at it and perhaps, give them some more money so that we can do larger events, more variety events, and students can actually see the value of their DSAG card. So that's all I wanted to say about that.
Okay, thank you, Hanju. Okay, moving back. So, okay, maybe that's something that we can talk about. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a suggestion. Since we have so much money, perhaps this would be a good opportunity to use some of it into expanding and stimulating the flea market and gaining more revenue, which we can then use for more programs.
Thoughts?
Like perhaps we could work with the marketing departments.
We got flea market people right here.
We do need more marketing. That's something.
Okay. So that kind of just before we move on, I just want to say I think it's good that we're thinking about what we can do with money. But I think within the context of this committee, because this is something that we're gonna talk about a lot anyways. People are gonna come to us asking for money, and this is a conversation we're gonna continuously have. I want to use this time for this specific item to talk more about kind of the more like non-money like allocating stuff that we can do as a committee. So it's like more of like committee work that we need to do, right? More so than it is just like the money we need to allocate, because that's something that we do anyways. So yeah, I just want to like say that. What do you question? No. Okay. Yeah. So there was another thing, Aaron, do you remember last year? I think there was a conversation about
disputing like how the funds are like which
yes, you remember that one? Yeah. Oh yeah. So there was that, right? We kind of wanted to what was it called? Like not annotate, but it was like categorized funds, was it? In more like in a way that was like more accessible. People can kind of just like see it, understand things better.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that we can also consider doing. I don't know how much time or how much like that would take. Considering that would probably have like the job delegation and
that
stuff
would be
like
good
that.
for the canvas that we're trying to work on. So in part with the video, we'd have to have like I guess a PDF of what categories fall into, like how much they comprise of the entire DSG budget.
I see. Okay. Yeah. If we end up doing that project, probably gonna make it beat it. That's okay. So that's something that's going to be that's something we talk about more as well. So we've got two solid things. Aaron. Jen.
Well, I was gonna say, it's done canvas and where would it be?
Probably like what modules? You like write it down.
Like modules within
within the finance.
Finance.
Yeah.
Canvas.
Yeah.
You can add it to the finance homepage.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
like
pretty useful.
want to see that because
We
it's
can
kind of hard
do
to
that.
understand.
Yeah, we can do that for sure.
I don't feel like we should we should put like the intro video for finance on the website because like 141. I don't know, it doesn't seem like appealing to like throw these with like random stuff at people who are like and stuff like that. But definitely on the canvas, it should be there.
Yeah, I think the plan was always put on canvas, not on the website.
So I feel like on the website, if there is like some information about 141 reasons anyways, right? They should not understand it. Like someone who just like pass it by. If they're on the finance page anyways, they probably have like maybe a little bit of like past interest. So I feel like it would be good to have like something where they just make sure.
I think that's a conversation we can have when we talk about the canvas more specifically later. Okay, back to the whole things finance wants to do, things we can do. I guess another thing that I want to do, probably just heads up for next week, is budget deliberation stuff. I want to go through the process and then see if there's any improvements we can make on that as well. But besides that, any other committee goals and projects that we want to do? You gotta do something. Right. Yes, Nika?
Yeah, you can find that one said.
No, I don't have anything to say. What are you talking about?
Okay. Okay, so like we've been kind of like promising other programs that we're gonna like help even though we don't. Oh, actually, wait, before that, there was the whole thing about trying to raise awareness for the advisor stuff. You remember college, right? That's something. So okay. So for context, this is gonna come up a lot later. So our finance committee funds like our advisors as well, which we shouldn't be doing, and we've been trying to change that. And then so for a long time we kind of tried handling it through the finance committee. So finance would hold like presentations in front of like senior staff and stuff regarding that. But more recently as well, we've been trying to handle it in shared governances. So I also want to talk about, is that something we want to handle again through finance, or do you think that's just something for shared governance? And this is something that we senators are going to be more familiar with. What do you guys think?
I see no reason why we shouldn't advocate for it as a finance.
But I mean, like how, and is like, would it be redundant?
I mean, we can use like finance to just like talk about it, and we use it to gather student bodies' opinion, and we can just like advocate for it in that.
Okay.
finance here for all students, we can have an input on what we really think about funding the advisors and like shared governance. There are students there, but most of those are like professors and like senior staff. So, and then we should do it.
Yeah. Yes, Lydia.
Yeah, I think that was something that came up for last year, especially in legislative affairs. Like they were planning a series of resolutions where there was one that was institutionalizing the advisor salaries. The second was for the SSC, which I'm not sure like the progress on it now, especially with like homes partially funding it. And the third one was actually for revising like the entire district's budget. So that's definitely something to work on with administration, like collaborating on the resolution and also like share governance.
Okay. Okay, interesting. So far we got the video to make finance overall more accessible to new people, which is okay, that's cool. Another thing to make finance more accessible to people is we want to categorize the funds. Yeah, the funds in like in a way that's just kind of like more friendly and stuff, easily digestible kind of deal. And then we still want to find a way to fund advisors. So that will also increase our budget. So our $1 million budget, it's like, is there really $1 million when half of it goes to advisors? It's kind of like, right? So we're trying to change that. So that's that. So these are 3 solid things right now. Is there anything else to add?
Photo services. Photo services.
Yeah, so that was kind of the conversation I was trying to bring about, like, how do we help? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do we do to help these programs that we can't fund? How do we, I guess a better way to put advisors would just be advocating for things that college should be paid for anyways. I guess that covers it sort of. Yeah. So yeah. Three solid things. Advocating for yes, Lisa.
I just want to bring up the point I made last week when I'm showing you about the student rep fee in Fund 46. More and more students are choosing to opt out. So I feel that it's really important for DSG to make some effort to encourage students to pay that fee. So that's just something that I brought up last week, and you can see in the presentation the actual numbers. I mean, just from one year to the next, the revenue decreased by a couple thousand just from the opt-outs. Okay, so the opt-outs is very high. It's given right at the time a student registers, which is required by the state. The state of California is mandating that. So a lot of students are just opting out. If they don't see any benefit of opting into it, why would they?
That's a very good point. So I think that's something that we also have to focus on as well. Increasing the head count for the student revenue.
The opt-in.
Oh, the opt-in, yes.
Right.
Yes, opt-in. Thank you.
But they don't check that opt-out button.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes, Hanju.
Hi, so it said if you could clarify for me, because I wasn't sure if I heard you correctly, but were you suggesting something about the money that's being paid towards advisors? Are you talking about their salaries? You said something to the effect.
I'm talking about the amount of money that we as the finance committee allocate to the advisors during budget deliberations.
And so is that a question, or was that something
no,
that
was just kind of like a statement, like we're trying to even from last year, this is something that we're trying to get the college to pay for. And so I was just bringing that up again, saying like, hey, we're gonna that's something that we still want to focus on as well.
Okay, because I'm hoping that the conversation doesn't turn into why we pay more. So we're talking really about Maritz's position. Hers is the only one that used to be paid by the college, and then during the Maritz's position was the one. Maritz's position was the only one that they could identify. So And you know, we'll work together to kind of shape that conversation. But, you know, Lisa's, for example, and Jennifer's, they directly support DSAG. So those, you know, I hope we don't have a conversation about whether or not, you know, those positions are valuable to us, because it makes perfect sense. DSAG pay those salaries, but absolutely, Marissa's, I want the college to own up to that position again and pay for the salary thing quickly, because I do have to get off, and I know that I think advisors announcements are next, but it's I'm glad that we're going to be talking about budget deliberations at our next meeting. So if we can also talk about also identifying the dates that we need to meet in January. So for all of you, please bring your calendars. Look at what you might be doing in January, because we're going to have to identify several dates in January, at the beginning of January, to do our budget deliberation. So if we can just ensure that is also part of that discussion next week, that would be great. That way we can put it in our calendars. It's set. Everyone then will know months in advance, and you can work around your work schedule, other responsibilities, to ensure that we are all there. Okay.
Yeah,
thank you all. Great meeting.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, Hanchu. Okay. So I think we had 4 solid things. Nico, can you remind me what they were again? Your vice chairship is on the line right now.
Campus video.
Okay.
The fund, making them more accessible.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. And then we wanna make the college fund the stuff that we shouldn't be funding. And number 4 is that one, increasing the opt-in money. Yes. 4.
Are there any questions? Any other suggestions? If not, then I think, or is there anyone online that has any suggestions? No, okay. So if not, then I guess those are going to be our goals, things that we're going to be doing outside the committee. Let's see how we can handle these so far. I'll be adding items related to this on the agenda as we go to try to meet these goals. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. So this is stuff on top of budget deliberations as well. So no questions. Last call. Okay. If that's the case, then that's that for that item. We can move on to public comments. Are there any public comments?
Club day this Thursday. Come check out our clubs.
Club day this Thursday. Yeah, that's good. Pretty nice. A lot of clubs. Advisor comments. Any advisor comments? No. Okay. The introduction and approval of prospective interns. Are there any prospective interns here? Please line up on this side. Yeah. We did need your attendance. Oh, let's write down your name.
We're just going to get the item basically.
Yeah. I need to check. Oh, it's out right now. So I'll let you guys know probably next week.
No way.
You're a liar. Get that thing out of here. Sorry. I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Sure. So you can.
Thank you.
Any other prospective intern? Any other? Yeah. I just realized technically the meeting isn't even adjourned yet, but I'm sort of here. I'm adjourned. I adjourned this meeting at 5:35 p.m. Good night, everyone. Good night. Huh? I asked her for it. It's gone. No, I don't know where it is. They'll find it for Senate. So, I just eye contact you, just like.